Hello, I'm Juan Ocampo, PhD Fellow at Agenda 2030 Graduate School in Lund University. And today I want to talk about trends in financial inclusion. But before we talk about financial inclusion, let's talk about trends. Sophia Ulberg, professor at Lund University, defines trends as larger social transformations that shape the way people behave in their local or global contexts. We can have gigatrends, megatrends, or local trends. All these shaped by consumer culture that are usually affected by political and ideological perspectives. Before I continue, I want to ask you, how much time do you think you spend online these days? Do you have any idea at the other side of the screen? Well, surveys show that around 20 hours per week people spend online. This is almost a day. And this brings me to our gigatrend, the digital revolution. It started in the 1940s with the development of the transistors, and in the 2000s with the creation of social media. We've been seeing a whole new trend developing in our society. A couple of years ago, nobody would have thought that education would be online. But stressed by the last couple of months of the 2020, we've seen this changed. Inside this whole new digital revolution, we've seen different cultures emerge. There's the hacktivists, people as Aaron Swartz or Alexandra Elbakyan, who are trying to change the private into the public, or people as Leah Busk or Mark Zuckerberg that are trying to get the public into the private. All this creating a private tension. Inside this gigatrend, we can have a megatrend, which is the digital lifestyle. Today, we are now seeing the emergence of different digital currencies and cryptocurrencies around the world. Or digital lifestyle, smart houses, smart watches, smartphones, all this shows different perspectives and ways of consuming in our daily life. By now, you should be asking, but what does this have to do with financial inclusion? Well, let me talk a little bit about this. The World Bank identified that by 2017, 1.7 billion people were still outside of the banking system. This has implications on the well-being and economic growth of these communities. Trying to solve this problem, different actors have tried to develop new ways into leveraging informal social practices with technology, and then include more people into the financial systems. We've seen actors from fintechs, from banks, from big companies as Ant or as Google develop new technologies to bring these people on board. In this digital trend, we've seen different manifestations. In the financial system, there are different services. You can find savings, payments, or credits. And now we've seen different companies develop from this. There's Hive Online, a Danish company, which tries to digitalize the saving behaviors of people in order to legitimize them and allow different actors to trust them and access better services. You have Grassroot Economics, which develops cryptocurrencies in local communities, allowing them to transact their assets and access cash transfer programs that are now more transparent and traceable. And you can find Tala, which is a company that, based on AI algorithms, evaluate the telecommunication data and social media activities of people and offer them credits. As you have seen, new technologies and informal social practices are being brought together into a new trend. But not all trends are good. Even if this digital gigatrend, digital lifestyle, and digital financial inclusion are shaping the way we consume today, we have to be very critical about it. And therefore, I want to invite you to reflect on three questions. First, is real financial inclusion for the people, or is just business as usual? Second, are vulnerable communities being protected of power imbalances? Think about how much power those people have, let's say in Europe, against big companies. So imagine how much power those vulnerable communities have. And lastly, are we respecting the individualities and interests of these communities? These are all questions that we should be asking, because trends, not because they're new, are good or bad, but we have to start being critical about them. Thank you very much.